So the last question, or the next question, can you suggest 3 to 4 resources, video, book, speech, slideshow to share with my CEO that will help me emphasize the value of strategic planning and to convince him that it is worth his time and his staff's time? I don't have buy-in yet.
So that, oh boy, I think almost every huddle we have facilitated and done has had some component about a leadership buy-in, and it's just so tough. So I just really emphasize the importance of it, but I also feel a heart for everyone that's just struggling with that right now. One thing that we just did is we produced a very simple executive level a white paper, and it's just a couple pages on purpose, called The Benefits of Strategic Planning, and Ryan will send that out to everyone as well. And our intention behind that was to provide some third-party point resources about why strategic planning is important. So that is a resource that hopefully you'll find really useful. It's intended to be a quick read, and it's intended to really address this particular question. So that's my quick answer. I'm trying to think about some other, we don't have a YouTube video that, and so, Cammy, I was just looking at what you're typing on there. So the white paper that we produce is called The Benefits of Strategic Planning, so just so you know that when it comes over, that answers that. I don't have a YouTube video that specifically talks about the benefits, but I will do that. One thing that you might consider, we're really loving this right now, is that video called The Power of Why, and it was produced by Simon Sinek, and I think that he just did a really awesome job at talking about why, thinking about your why, and the only way that you execute against your why is through a planning process. So that's just another suggestion that has been really resonating with a lot of our clients. I struggle, and I'm just trying to think of some other ideas here too, but I struggle with this question sometimes because part of my feeling about it is, so the absence of having an articulated strategic plan means that there is a void in clarity around the strategic direction of an organization. And for me, I think that's really challenging because, we started talking about this recently as, organizations, we believe that organizations have a purpose, have a very specific purpose for existence. And we all come to work every day to fulfill that purpose individually and as leaders. And so by not having even a one page, articulated where the organization is going, and a consensus around that is really befuddling to me because it's so important to have that, even if it's just basic and simple. So, and I don't mean oversimplified, and I don't mean too basic, but just not creating a monster out of the process. And I think that's really why we get a lot of resistance when we talk about doing strategic planning. So I maybe would leave you with the idea as well as maybe think about what can you do that's a very small step that builds the strategic planning muscle. And not doing the whole thing, not going all the way around the track, going deep all the way around the track, as we talk about sometimes, and not having to go soup to nuts from a deep environmental scan all the way to massive performance management. But what does your organization need to do this year that would really help you solidify and create value around the strategic planning process? And Cammy, you want to maybe add to that? I was thinking about your passion around small wins and all of that stuff that you talk about.
Yeah, well, I think, where my head initially goes with this is that any CEO is going to be, someone who's looking also external into the outside of the organization, into the marketplace to see what's going on, what's impacting the company. So, being able to address what's happening in the environment to a degree that where you're shooting to come out in 2 or 3 years, it's really important right now. So if I were pitching to a CEO, I think on the benefits of doing a strategic plan, I would look at what's going on in the industry and look at where the points of some tumultuous activity, it might potentially impact the company, you know, ask the hard questions. You know, how will the company weather certain things? How will the company, you know, respond to developments in technology that their competitors might have a potential leg up on them for? You know, going through the environment and knowing where you know, the churn is and where the technology advancements are, and asking the CEO, you know, how is our company going to go ahead and address these things so we remain competitive, not knowing what the company is here. But, you know, it's those kind of things. I mean, ask questions of the CEO, and then, you know, that's what strategy, you know, addresses. So there's that component of it. The small wins, I think that, you know, getting, and I think the strategy, you know, generally people are thinking, oh, it's pie in the sky stuff. You know, it's the same kind of thing that makes, you know, building a vision statement sort of, you know, like ubiquitous, and it's just, it doesn't feel like people can get their arms around it. You know, there's a lot of case examples out there, and maybe we should dredge up a couple to send out with this, but of how small wins have helped companies achieve something larger, and understanding that those are tangible things that can help the bottom line now, and that can help things that CEOs might be more focused on as far as survival goes, and being able to do both at the same time. There's a really good book called Switch, and the author, Erica, I'm sure you could bust out his name. I forget his name.
The Heath Brothers.
But, yes, the Heath Brothers. So that's a great book. It is filled, it's with stock filled with all sorts of examples on these small wins and what they mean for larger term change and larger term strategic direction. So being able to understand how to articulate how small wins, if placed in a certain trajectory, can really be hyper powerful with being able to get competitive advantages and to be able to position yourself in the future for just long-term sustainability and success.
That's awesome. Cammy, thank you. And I know we've gone long on some of these questions, and we're almost at the top of the hour, but we did take everything that came in. So hopefully you found our time together really valuable.